Evening, everyone, or morning, everyone, wherever you are in the world.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. How are we all? Nice to see you.
Args and I, well, I'll let you into a little secret. This is the second time we've said hello to everybody. But I may not have hit start broadcast the first time, so that's on me.
There you go. You're live. I can confirm you are live.
Thanks, mate. Glad to hear it. How's everyone doing tonight? Nice to have you back, Scorpion. We missed you, mate. So nice to have you back.
We did.
How's everybody doing? So we're here, I think, to have a little bit of a chat through what happened on Gamescom the last couple of days. There's definitely been some very vocal people in the chat, certainly off the back of my vids and around the community. So we'll have a little chat about it, I think.
Yeah, indeed. So we put together a few slides just to go through what we already know, and then we've run a few notes mainly around the 30 or so minutes of gameplay we got to see in Gamescom. So we'll just go through that and have a bit of a chat. Yeah,
I want to hear from you guys as well in the chat. Definitely, tell us what you think, tell us what you're worried about, tell us what you like. Definitely seems quite negative at the moment, but I think hopefully we can put a little bit of practicalities around that tonight. We've got to bear in mind they're still developing the game, so we'll see.
I'm going to check your audio. Just saying your sounds a bit loud.
I'm loud, am I? Too loud?
Too loud? Probably a different setting using StreamYard versus OBS, maybe.
True. Hang on.
So I'll carry on anyhow. So what do we learn? Well, we've learnt the new name, the new map, the French-themed map. I think everyone had guessed that anyhow. It was either going to be France or Italy or somewhere around there. So we have ended up in France. We got the gameplay trailer, which generally I think people were pretty underwhelmed with it. I was certainly underwhelmed with that gameplay trailer. I know FSG and I chatted about it, and you felt much the same too, didn't you?
I did indeed. I've moved my mic further away. That might just solve the problem.
Yeah, that sounds better.
We were literally after my Bulls Gap stream on Wednesday. So you should know, if you're a content creator that's a Giants partner, you get access to the stuff a little bit earlier, so you can plan vids and stuff like that. So Args and I had just received it as I finished Bulls Gap, and so we just jumped on Discord together and had a chat, and we were, I think, underwhelmed is the best word to describe it, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Underwhelmed and almost, not let down, but it didn't provide that sort of punch and pop that we sort of expected from the presentations they've given so far, which have been,
that's right,
top quality. And I think ESAB commented and thought if they'd put as much effort into the gameplay as they had put into their trailer, then the game would be looking good. But I think the gameplay that we're going to look at soon redeemed some of that. I don't think it's quite as bad as people are making out. I don't know. That's my view.
I agree. I totally agree. I think I was watching the stream last night. Gave me a lot of kind of hope that there's more to come. Definitely. I mean, a lot of the comments that I've had were like the colors look saturated. There doesn't look a lot of detail in the tractors and the vehicles and stuff like that. Which, the more I think about it, looking at the stream last night, that potentially. Actually, I think maybe they just had the graphics turned down, or it was a dev version of the game or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
we can only speculate, can't we?
Yeah, and there was some things which we'll talk about in a minute around view distance and that sort of thing. Where one angle it's disappointing, another angle it's amazing. So I think there's still some detail there that I've got to pop up. But what else? Season pass. So they've announced the year 1 season pass, and what is it? 3 DLCs. I think we've got a slide here. I won't flip through them all. But there's the 3 DLCs and a new map, I think, the 4 different parts. And I've noticed as well that you can now pre-order a game and season pass combo on their website. So if you've already pre-ordered the game, you can get the season pass separately. But if you haven't, there's an option there to buy it. It's a 1.
Yeah.
So obviously that's good gameplay. But we'll just we'll flip through. We'll have a look at the images that we got for the new map.
Yeah. So I'm really interested to see what you guys think of this map, because I don't know what your stats are like, Args, but about 65% of the guys that watch me are US based. So obviously you like US content. So I'm interested to see what you think about this map. I actually really liked it. I think it's got a lot of character. I'm desperate to see PDAs for both this and for the US map.
They did show the PDA very briefly in the stream.
Oh, did they? Oh, good.
Point. Yeah.
I missed that.
I think I bookmarked it. I can't remember the now notes.
Excellent.
So how do you pronounce it?
I think it's, and I was surprised there wasn't an E on the end of it, because any oats that I've seen in France have an E on the end of it. But I think, and don't quote me on this, although I am renowned for getting my pronunciation of names right in my streams. I think it's Oat Bayron. So you don't pronounce the L. Yeah, so it's not Belleron, it's Bayron. But if somebody in France,
Callum's down there. I live in France. How was that, Callum? Is it on point?
Yeah, Callum, looking good. There we go.
Yeah,
looks good. Well, I'm glad to hear it, Callum.
So the interesting thing I've found from what they've shown, and it seems to be the case. There's an image. We actually don't see a farm. We see the map.
Yeah.
Again, you don't see the farm, and they're focused on these features like the castle and the catapult and those kind of things. The observatory.
Yeah.
Like it's a farming game. Yet they're more worried about some of the features on here.
This is really new, though, isn't it? Because if you think back to the FS19 base game maps, there's nothing of note in there other than farming-related buildings and fields and all of the stuff that comes with it. All right, there's a train in there and stuff like that. But yeah, they seem to be a lot more building on the same with the US map. They're building like an environment with other stuff in it. But then you're kind of concerned that there could have been another field there.
Yeah, that's right.
So is it the case that the maps are bigger? So they've not confirmed that yet, have they? That the base game size of the map, have they expanded that?
No, they haven't confirmed that yet. I'm still on the opinion that it's bigger than what we've seen in 19, but we will find out. But I just see Cranky's commented there about collectibles, which is apparently something that had been requested a lot to come back in.
It was in 15, wasn't it?
It wasn't 17 gold nuggets or something.
Jump back to the yellow tree there. Yeah, they're a bit flat, aren't they? I've seen. It's not a lot of color variant in that, is there?
No.
Leaves change at different speeds. They're not all the same color, are they? So interesting.
Although you look in the background there, some of them are a bit more orange than yellow.
Yeah,
right on the distance, but. Yeah.
But again, I think that looks oversaturated. I think maybe the screenshot's been captured with oversaturated,
possibly
colors. So we don't. I think this is what it boils down to, isn't it? We can't. We can assume stuff, but until we've got the game switched on in front of us and played around with the settings ourselves, it might be just one variant of thousands that you could tweak. But again, the detail. If you look at the detail on that for a screenshot. I mean, there's a lot going on in there, isn't there?
I was just looking at like the snow on the edge of the road and the way it is around the grass and that sort of thing. So, there's more depth to it than there has been previously with snow.
Yeah.
The water's a bit flat for me, but it's obviously no wind on that day, no chop.
Yeah. I like that little baler, I have to say. I was quite taken with that.
Baler. Yeah. Some of the B-roll footage, the way it showed the bales falling out of it, I was quite impressed with.
Yeah,
and actually the textures there. I mean, that texture, if it's a wheat or a straw crop, I know this is what intrigues me. That actually looks alright and looks like there's a lot of depth into it. But then some of the later ones they show actually don't. They're just I don't know what the difference is.
Yeah, and I think some of that, like you said, that B-roll footage, Args, the one of the combine, when the camera's higher up, looking down, it can look a bit almost too regimented. It's not kind of a natural thing. So, I kind of agree with you. When you're down at the lower levels, it looks better.
Yeah.
So
what's everyone's thoughts on the rock mechanic? Obviously, it's with their parallel occlusion mapping, they're able to add that three-dimensional texture to it to give rocks on the fields. But to me, it's just it's not what Rocky Fields is. And, we've seen that added to FS19 in the last month. And Rocky Fields is just, that blows my mind what Thunder's done with that. And actually, if you were in my stream half an hour ago, Kaduk was chatting about it with the rock picker and how, he's actually working with Thunder to make that rock picker, or Thunder's modifying the script for the rocks to make that rock picker work better.
Yeah. That's brilliant.
I know there's obviously regional difference, the way that rocks are dealt with in the States and that versus how it's done in Europe and all of that's different. So, you got to bear in mind that this is a European-made game.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see that AR using the parallel occlusion mapping to be able to add features like this.
Jason Simmons there saying there's no depth to that ground. I disagree, Jason. I think there is more depth to this ground. Again, I think screenshots never do that justice. I think we'll have to wait until we've actually got it on screen and that occlusion mapping is working as you move around. I think that's when you'll see a real difference on it. But I think
there's a good example of it, and there's a good example of it in the stream, which I thought looked quite good near the end when they were doing some cultivating. So we'll try and pick up on that. Yeah,
there you go.
There we go. That's the roadmap for expansions. But what interested me was they called it year 1, and which tells me that there'll be a year 2 season pass. But is it saying that Farming Simulator is going to become more of a game as service? Well, not game as service, but a longer lasting game with more content being added across more years?
Well, the fact that first expansion has a new map, I mean, they've only ever done that once before with Erlengrape, haven't they?
Erlengrape, yeah.
So it looks like there's a shift towards that kind of steady release of content rather than... I was intrigued by the names underneath here. So what does "this will drive you crazy" mean for Pack 2? Pack 3, get things done more efficiently. That is, that's absolutely precision farming, right?
But summer 22, that's too far away, isn't it? Didn't they say it was going to be autumn?
Yeah,
or
they
early
did.
22? Spring, I don't know. Who knows? Get things done more. It must be something. They've taken a page out of your language book saying plethora. It's an FSG favourite, I think.
Do I even say that? I don't even know I say that.
Yeah. I've noticed.
I've said it a plethora of times.
There you go.
Right. Let's. Should we just go through the
let's
stream
bring up
show?
the video and we'll go through that.
All right. So let's bring up everybody's favourite Giants employee, Lars. There he is.
Lars. Hopefully, we don't get in trouble for sharing Twitch.
We love Lars. Right, so first things first, we were going to quickly jump to 2 minutes 50, where we're harvesting grapes. There we go. So there's a few things you picked up here, didn't you, Args?
Yep.
The volume of what the grape harvester can hold was one.
So they ran along the one length of the vines here. Obviously, it's a certain length, but we got 284 liters of grapes, and it was 9% full. So I'm guessing the grape harvester there's got about a 3,000 liter capacity. But I guess that becomes more telling when you look at when they make the grape juices to actually see what you get off that, how much it sells for, and what the potential earning income is off that. Which is actually it's what I hoped it would be, which is high. That you're going to get a decent amount for the effort you have to put in, because as they show, you have to do this manually. You can't get workers or anything like that to do it. Yeah,
and let's be honest, reality that grapes as a crop are not a cheap crop to buy. It's not. You can't compare it to a field of corn or a field of wheat, really, can you?
No, that's right.
Well, Holden Man saying there, grape harvesters don't have a hopper in real life. That's interesting as well.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that.
I have to say, I know nothing about harvesting grapes. So any information from you guys is new to me. So harvesting grapes interesting. So we think about 3,000 liters capacity of this. You can see there as well that this is running an automatic gearbox. It's just got drive, neutral, and reverse, which is interesting because some of the tractors later on have the manual gearbox in, so we can see how that works. The difference in the bottom corner there. So 5:20. We can run this for a little bit longer if you want, but I think it's just
I think just keep
up and
moving
down.
through what we've noticed. I think everyone's probably watched it, so we're only just
let's just
going
go
over
to the trailer. This was quite a nice trailer. The fact it opened both sides as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was quite cool. Yeah.
And again, more old machinery. It's interesting. There's definitely going to be a lot more.
Pretty cool.
That was a really nice tractor, actually. It's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, no, interesting trailer. I'm guessing that's specifically for grapes, but I guess you could use it for grain as well. Just looks like a hopper trailer. Although, is there an auger in the bottom or something?
It looks like it's got an auger or something down the bottom.
Yeah, something down in the bottom. But nice animation when they close the lid, actually. Thought that was nicely done.
Yeah, I was actually intrigued with how it worked, but I'd see the way that arm works as it's locked on either side. I was just looking at the mechanical function of it and thought that's actually quite clever, quite a smart bit of engineering.
And I did like some of the subtle sounds they've got. I know they talked about sound a lot, and but just the clinks and the bangs and the squeaks as the lid opens and shuts is always nice. And
we just saw that car race past.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to it.
How fast is the traffic, and how much is that going to bug people if they leave it on? I know it's been a comment is let's make the traffic faster, but then you get the maps where the traffic has been faster, and it's.
They did say as well, though. Did they not say that the AI has been improved to? Its collision detection's a lot better.
Has it?
Yeah, I think they mentioned that in the stream. So. Yeah, the two kind of need to go hand in hand, don't they?
They do.
You can't just crank up the speed and hope for the best.
Yeah.
I don't know about anybody else, but I know, I always turn traffic off. Just because, especially if you're running things like auto drive, it just gets in the way, doesn't
it?
Yeah.
But clearly modelled off a Citroen.
Yep. Good old Citroens.
A few different little versions of the Citroens around.
Yeah. So we'll follow this guy because I can't. Again, he's he's running a manual box here. Look, he's got 3 reverse gears there, and he's got a mid-range box there with 4 gears.
Yeah, I think it's low, mid, and high because he gets stuck going up this hill and has to put it into low.
So there you go. What do S means? Sports. Sports mode.
Where's the S? I didn't see that. Well, this is the
so
deer. I love the deer.
I thought the deer were a really nice touch.
I think the deer are quite cool. Because I like the birds. I quite enjoy having the birds in 19. Just having them pop up, and especially I find they add a little bit more atmosphere to the map.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see, because they did say the deer are still a work in progress, but I guess the fact that they've got wildlife running around is what other options are there. Is there coyotes or rabbits, hares, whatever else is regional.
Yeah.
So they just drive up to the factory now, don't they?
Yeah, it does. That's just interesting what Driz is saying there about actually the AI is better because of multi-core support is interesting. I hadn't thought about it like that, but that makes sense.
That is a good point, actually.
Arctic hopes they have grasshoppers.
Plagues of locusts.
The deer should eat some crops. It's interesting. I like the fact that the deer ran into the field, actually, and it wasn't just kind of hidden in the woods. That was nice. It'd be cool if you could hunt the deer. I think you guys are getting carried away with killing deer.
Yeah, but a hunt for the wild. What is it called, the wild?
Right.
So what do we notice here while they were doing the grapes? We get to see a bit more of the production menus.
Yeah. I like look at the quality of those buildings, and also the shadows. I think the shadows are a lot more improved than in.
Did you notice the map? I know we talked about it last time from FarmCon is the circular mini map. Do you notice it's square later on?
Yes, I did.
Context based. It's context based. Depending on what you're doing, it's square or circle.
Is that right? Okay.
That's what I gathered from it.
So if you're basically driving around, Well, but when would you? We'll have to work out what the context is then.
I don't know what the difference would be, but it's circular there. I thought it was when he was in a vehicle or something. Perhaps you can tab through it. But obviously you just see a bit of a key, some of the menus, but it was interesting with the
I'm gonna go
Grape.
back and
So
pause that, actually. What we've got: automatic engine start, stop and go braking, trailer fill limit off. Trailers can only be filled until the max allowed weight is reached. That's interesting. Haven't spotted
must be
that
an
there.
ability to overload trailers.
Yeah,
That'd be nice.
that would be every harvest.
Yeah. It would be good if you just had that last, like, you always have 2% left in the hopper and you can't get rid of it. You got to do an extra run.
Yeah.
We all know the farmer, and you would overload that trailer to get that 2% out.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So with the grapes, the one thing I noticed with the production there is grape juice appears was the ratios it got produced at. So for raisins, it was 5 liters of grapes made 1 liter of raisins, and the grape juice was 1 grape made 0.8 liters of grape juice. So there's a bit of a conversion ratio there, and that there's a cost for it. So it was $5 a minute, they said in the production menu, and you'll see there that their money was $1 million when they started, and it went down on the hour.
Okay.
So there'll be a lot of an hourly charge, I suppose, while it's producing.
So interestingly, surely a raisin is equivalent to a grape, right? A raisin is a dried grape.
Raisin's a dried grape. Yeah.
Surely you should have a 1-to-1 ratio there, not a 5-to-1 ratio.
I suppose it's volume though. They're doing a volume. If you've dehydrated a grape, you're counting by volume.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
What do you think of the physics? I mean, he made a song and dance about not being very good at loading, and then made a pretty good job at getting it on and off.
That looked pretty slick, actually, didn't it? Yeah,
it did look just a little bit better than what I would have expected.
Yeah, no, that was pretty good.
So I think it's just here. If you just get ready to pause it, is when the map comes up.
There we go.
So it's on square. Oh, he doesn't bring up the full map, but he brings the full map up in the little version down there.
The HUD. So that's interesting. In fact, there's the HUD. I can't really see it because it grays out a little bit with this. But that, I mean, either they're going to be incredibly small fields, or that's got to be a 2x map, right?
Well, that was my thought.
I'm really interested to see how that's going to...
Oh, yeah. I do want to know more. I'm just trying to figure out where they were harvesting the grapes, because those fields in front of you aren't very big. When you look at them on the map, they're not very big.
Yeah,
and when
true.
you look at them in person, they're not very big. So I don't know. But interestingly enough, and you see it later on.
2CV there?
2CV, yeah. You see it later on both the mini map and when he makes it a bit bigger, is how big the icons are for vehicles.
Yeah.
And there's different ones for trailers. Currently it's done by color.
Yeah.
Different colors for trailers, implements, and vehicles. Transit van, is it?
That's actually, that looked like a Renault.
Oh, is it?
There's a Renault version of the transit van. So what we talked about, you put it in the notes actually that we were talking about, is the maybe specific cars, types of cars based on the map.
Yeah, well they said that the NPCs and the cars would be specific to the maps.
So that's nice, like that.
And they gave a little demo of their mapping, texture mapping.
It's nice, isn't it? I think it does look a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Actually, I was just going to jump back to here because I forgot that I really liked that it's subtle, but the little icon when you unload the trailer, it's just a lot nicer. That start overloading on the grapes there. It's a nicer.
Down the bottom. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a little bit more subtle. I always think it's so cumbersome and so heavy over the top of the screen.
It's almost shouting at you.
Yeah. Right, let's have a look. So he's dropped off his grapes there.
Careful Atheist was saying that sultanas are dried, seedless green grapes. Any other dried grape is a raisin. I did not realize there was a difference between sultanas and raisins depending on what sort of grape is used. See,
there you go. We're learning everything tonight.
From the field is educational.
Amazing. Thank you, Careful Atheist. Very interesting.
Yeah. Can you hear the TV in the background? Hold on, man.
Tell you, multitasking. That's us lot.
Multitasking, yeah. Joys of being a parent.
Bonus
points if you can figure out what they're watching, Holden, man.
Not that we're playing on the default map, on my own map.
Did you want to just jump back to 1405?
Yeah, sure.
Just for a minute.
1405.
This is one of my most disappointing things. Look at the field as you're driving towards the field, the cropping appearing.
Yeah.
That was.
Yeah.
I don't know.
If they moved it, I mean, they've moved the circle of death out, but it's still there, very much there.
It's more pronounced.
Yeah.
At the moment, at least with corn, if it was corn, you get the same shaded color.
Yeah.
Whereas there, it was just showing the base texture, like there was no crop at all. So hopefully that's going to change. Hopefully that's still a work in progress.
Yeah, that would just, and again, kind of hoping that
you see it dropping on here too. That one's not quite so pronounced, but it's still pretty bad.
Yeah. Hopefully, all we can do is hope that we've got the adjustment in it like we can do now. So we can push that further out.
Agreed.
So I've kind of seen this.
Steve
There's a lot of work in progress. It does, and that was, and I think after seeing, I think we both talked about this. After seeing the gameplay stuff, we were slightly worried, but it does now look. I think it looks really sharper than FS19. Just a little bit more detail in the vehicles, a little bit more detail in the trailers, a little bit more detail in the buildings. It all kind of adds up a little,
Yeah.
I have to say, things like grass and things like that. There doesn't seem much change there from FS19. Sorry, what you said about the minimap, mate?
I was just going to say it's square at the moment. I was just going to watch and see when it changes. It's still square.
Square the whole time.
Related to when he's got the
So I wonder, it might be. Is it customizable?
Vehicle.
Maybe.
Well, I wonder if it's vehicle versus when you're out of the vehicle on foot. Not sure.
Yeah. Well, no, he's out there.
He's out now, so. Yeah. So there must be three options as it goes squares: circle, square, and then big square.
Yeah. So, what's next? Loading pallets physics. You talked about that. It was good. Parallax occlusion on 14. You said there was an Audi in there.
That was
14 minutes.
I reckon that's an Audi A3.
Yeah, Audi A3, definitely. Definitely. All right, grapes. Minimap square versus circle. We've talked about that.
That's sorghum, eh?
Sorghum at 18 minutes.
Unless people are interested in the grape spraying and the pruning. I think you've all seen that. It's not too much to discuss about it. It is what it is.
I'm interested to see actually who's going to do a lot of grape harvesting. Who's going to give it a go and then never use it again? Is it like sugar beet and or sugar cane and poplars, or are actually people going to get stuck into it? So
it's going to be FSG's sugar beets, FS22.
Yeah, definitely. Now this this put a real smile on my face when I watched this. That this in cab and the extra detail in the crops as it goes into the header. I mean, that looks great. Come on.
Yeah, I agree. That does look great, but this does not.
No.
Between the header and the straw discharge looks terrible.
Yeah. Why have you got brown, basically cultivated land? This should be.
When he gets to the end and hops out, you can see basically the plant population on the ground does not match at all the plant population they're showing as the top texture. Yeah.
So I would, you would expect actually the chaff coming out of the back of the combine. Yeah. That would be your ground. Something like that would be your ground texture before you put your chaff over the top of it, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So hopefully,
stalks and that's pretty low. So
hopefully they're going to look into that. And this is where we kind of say, maybe it's not. Maybe they've still got a lot of
pause just there. You can see it. Well, you don't need to pause it, but it's just
there's like a tenth. There's a tenth of the actual crop sitting there as stalk.
I don't know. Sorghum is a single, like a who was it? Laura Farms. I don't know if you watch her videos. They were doing silage off sorghum the other day. They were chopping that sorghum for silage, and it is like a maize corn stalk, so it is only a single stalk. But they would be much closer together.
Yeah, I have to say this class combine looks nice as well, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. And so does the Mac. Where they jump in the in cab of this Mac. This Mac's a good looking model, which would have been one of this. That Mac would have had a very specific standard they would have required to be a brand, I would imagine.
And the B-train trailers, even the rivets on them and stuff like that. They're not. Are they? What are they? Load Kings? They're not.
Not sure actually. Not a Wilson, are they?
They're not Wilson.
The white square. Someone will tell us what they are.
What's that logo? That logo, is that a Load King logo, guys? You American dudes. But yeah, inside of the cab, really nice, yeah.
Was this a low-res stream, or am I missing something? Probably just the quality we were playing it back at. But Jason, stream being restreamed.
Yeah, Jason, you're assuming that this is with everything turned up. Maybe they're running this at half res at the moment. So, give them the benefit of the doubt until you've got it in your hands and playing it. There you go. Load King Super Bees. Thank you, big dog. Appreciate that.
Oh, good pick by you on the brand.
Look at the gears. 12 gears. 13 gears.
Yeah.
That's nice. 14 gears. That'll come in handy with my purchase from today.
You got your little gear stick. We wanted that too, Trey, whether it was a console, but unless they're playing it on the developer's console, I would have thought that they'd be doing it all on PC.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on from the Mac, they spend a bit of time in town having a look at the river, at the boats up at the castle.
Yeah.
You see some of the NPCs walking around, some of the different building textures and all that sort of thing. And this is where they talked a lot about the collectibles coming back. So what is there? It was games. Was it old video game cartridges?
Yeah, old good video games cartridges. So for me, it's a clever way of getting people to explore the map, because I think you're right. Sometimes on a map, you have the fields that you've bought and you never go and see the rest of the map. All right, you might drive past stuff to go to a sell point or something like that, but you don't really pay attention. So I like that idea, I like that kind of gamification idea. Will I bother doing it? I don't know. I'm
going to be the first. I'm going to get in there, and that's all I'm going to do when I first get the game.
First thing you can do.
I'm going to live stream and find every single collectible.
All right. That's just clickbait vid right there.
Clickbait vid. Yeah, every collectible in FS22.
But I thought this was nice when you go into the town here and they turn up the hill here. The detail on the houses. So where is it? Where's the bit I really liked? It was just so this tall house here and the castle up on the hill. That is a good quality view distance.
I'm going to say that was really nice. Knowledge, because my European experience is the middle of London, the middle of Paris, and that's about it.
But it's just nice. It's just nice that it's holding the detail. There's a lot more rendered in, and there's a lot less kind of blurriness of the distance, which is nice. So I'm down for this. I think they've done a good job with this stuff.
I was surprised I saw the parking meters. I was expecting to see an electric charging stations and that around some of those parks.
Yeah. Plug in your electric tractor.
Yeah. Well, they brought it in with the Alpine DLC, so why not?
Arctic, there's something wrong about a Mac pulling a Super B in France. Yeah. It's a very good point.
They did comment on that in the stream, and it was I think a lot of people thought that they only got the Mac if you pre-ordered through Amazon. But that's just a limited edition Black Anthem. So there is just a base game Mac, which is what they wanted to show off.
Yeah. So Yeah, I'm gonna have to do a pre-order through Amazon as well, aren't I? Hot air balloons look good. Yeah, hot air balloons have become a bit of a thing in FS, haven't they, in the last few months?
Are they? That's like they've taken the best bits from every modder out there,
Yeah,
and added them. You know, an oxygen hot air balloons is an Oxygen David thing, isn't it?
yeah. There's the old Citroen there again.
Yeah.
But this was we actually looked at this little clip just before we came on live. Actually, was this view across the valley. Now you could never get the detail that they've got here in FS19. I mean, the redraw of trees. You know, I'm thinking of big maps like Yukon River Valley, where it only shows a kind of percentage of the trees, but you can see a lot of detail right into the distance there. So I thought that was really nice, that bit. That gave me hope. So, cultivation and stones.
Yeah, cultivation.
Yeah. Let's have a look at that. In fact, it's just coming up right now.
So this was that's the wheat texture. So you can see in the field information that wheat was the last crop. And that's the texture that really seems a bit bland, particularly when you look across the field at it.
Yeah.
But I think some of these shots, and it might not show too well being restreamed to the stream, but some of the depth of texture in the cultivation and that, excluding the rocks, there was a lot more depth in the soil.
Yeah.
Which I thought sort of lifted it a little bit higher than what it had been.
Yeah, no, I though that harvested texture for me looks far, far, far too uniform. The lines are too straight and things like that. Yeah. But actually, the cultivated texture, it's interesting because that's different. If you remember the very first images that they put up with the 9R, and there was like bits of straw through the cultivated texture,
wasn't there?
That seems to have gone now, doesn't it? So I'm interested to see what. Yeah,
that's a good point. I wonder as well because obviously they haven't harvested that field; it's just been painted as a texture. I wonder with the the limited multi-terrain angle they're going to have, and whether that would bring more variance if it was actually player harvested, player planted, all that sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a fair point. It is a fair point.
There's the rock picker.
But the rock picker is interesting as well because it's almost like it's recultivating the ground as well. So I'm guessing it maybe does it needs to have an element of digging under the ground. I'm thinking like a US rock picker is literally a belt that picks up the rocks and it drags along the floor, whereas this has got things running under, actually blades running under the ground to lift them. It's almost like it's sieving the soil through and throwing the. Yeah. But I guess they're smaller rocks as well, though, aren't they?
It's a different scale of rocks. This is more like a grading plant where you're taking off just the small ones, whereas you look at some of the stuff you see in the US is the big rocks like which come up.
Boulders.
The freeze thaw sort of situation.
Yeah. But also, I think I like the idea that you can sell these. I mean, I'm guessing it won't be much. But it is interesting. Again, detail on the model looks fantastic, though.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, very impressed.
So I like that. And that Zetor tractor as well is good.
Yeah, Zetor is a new brand.
Yeah. Hello.
Okay, that's enough.
Argsy Junior.
Argsy Junior.
And the saddle track as well. It's the first time we've seen this in a bit more detail. What do you think about this texture, though? I kind of thought, obviously, it's quite obvious over the stubble texture.
Yeah, I found it interesting that, and exactly what you're going to, is that they pointed out how hard it was to see on the cultivated texture.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, if you've recognised that as a potential complaint, why don't you fix it?
Because actually, at the moment, that's one of the nicest textures in FS19 is that liquid manure digestate. Over it, it's got that sheen on it. That's got that kind of reflective, glassy effect that obviously shows it's a liquid.
I was spreading slurry on my stream on Red Dirt County this morning, and that was really easy to see. I don't know whether it was a custom texture or not, but there was no arguments where you'd been or not. But this one, I can see, they had to make a point of going, oh, the sun's going to be in the right spot, and it's not a very good spot at the moment. But look at it; it's got reflections, and you can see.
So interesting, yeah. So that's we'll reserve judgment on that one.
Eco Kid made a good point there. Actually, the rocks will be bigger if you plow, and that'll be interesting. Actually, whether they've said that or whether you're just making an
assumption there, because that would be a nice touch.
Would be a nice touch. Yeah.
Will the rocks be bigger if you plow rather than cultivate? Steve
said, that's the question. Yeah.
I'm going to say probably not, Steve, because I think Args has already pointed this out, that it's actually it's a texture, so it's an additional ground texture, whereas Thunder's mod is actual real live rocks that have spawned in the field. This I think is just another texture, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you just want to go back to that sleep trigger?
Yeah,
I don't know how they did. I don't know. I like the sleep trigger. I don't know how they did this though. Where was the sleep trigger? 32. They sleep through 2 days of seasons, according to this. Goes from August to October.
Now, did they say they were going to be able to do that? So if you've got, in the winter, if you've got nothing to do and you've done everything you want to do, so it's August there, isn't it?
Yeah, 10:28. Look at like 10:28 a.m. so you can sleep.
Yeah,
but I thought it only gave an option when he brings it up of sleep what time to wake up,
and it said 6 a.m. So it was at 8 a.m.
The next thing it's October. So unless you can set your season cycles to 6 months in a year, so every in-game day is 2 months.
I skipped 2 days there. So if he's on,
really?
So that maybe suggests that it's gone to 3-day seasons.
Don't know.
Who knows?
Work it out. I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah,
but they do go to October, so they skip a month.
Yeah, it's quite a long jump, isn't
it?
I thought the lighting was quite. I thought the lighting was quite nice on the in the autumn stuff.
Yeah, when he hopped into this tractor here, this angle here,
sort of the haze and stuff is nice. Yeah.
Yep.
So
Mark's saying long summer, short winter. That could be true as well. Perhaps you could have only one in-game day as your winter, or
when you've got less to do. Yeah. Stripping leaves, I don't know what to say about this, really. It is what it is, isn't it?
It is what it is. Yeah.
Part of the
process. I like the little animation on it when it opens at the posts. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. So that's good.
Otherwise, that's what it is.
So I'm just going to run this because this is coming up in just literally a few seconds. The crop calendar. I think it was nice to see the... I'll wait for it to come up, so I'm not preempting it.
Oh, there's the map too. You saw the map for just a split weekend.
Oh, yeah. Let's see if we can catch that again.
Only part of it, I think, if you zoomed in on it. But...
Oh, yeah. He zoomed in on it. But the icons here, those colourful icons are nice.
Much easier.
Look a lot more relevant. Yeah.
It'll
be interesting to see if they repeat that in the cell. Cell menu.
I was intrigued. It showed wheat and barley only being planted in autumn. Is that how it's done in Europe?
You can do winter. You can do winter wheat and barley, certainly in the UK.
But do they do spring wheat as well?
But you can do spring wheat as well. Yeah. So
that wasn't an option.
An option for both.
But that geo didn't have an option for it. It was just
I saw. Yeah. So southern France, maybe a bit warmer, probably can get away with it. Maybe it's too hot in the summer. I don't know. So to the guy saying the stream is 720, apologies for that. That's all this will stream at the moment. So I agree, we're not probably getting the best quality review of the stuff, but that's all we can do this on at the moment. So hopefully we can get that upgraded in the future.
That light there looks good.
It does.
That's a nice atmosphere.
It does.
That was, I think that was about it, wasn't it?
It was. Just the only thing you talked about, which I thought was interesting, was 3430.
This was something they said when they were talking.
Oh, the fact that non-seasons playable still had seasons, like visually it would show.
Visually, yeah. So it still went
So
through
in
the seasons,
October.
but you weren't limited. Yes, but you weren't limited when you could plant, is what I gathered out of it. You just play the game, but you might find that you've got crops ready to harvest and there's snow on the ground, is the way I interpreted what they said. I might have misinterpreted it too, but that was how I heard what they said. But yeah. So, I think, I mean, we didn't actually talk about grape. I reckon grapes could be quite a profitable crop.
I think so too. Yeah, so do I. Like, I think high value.
When they sold it, it was about $7,000 per litre, per 1,000 litres. So that's quite a good return.
Yeah. No, that is pretty good. So, no, I think you're right. Yeah, there's definitely like it's a high volume or high value, low volume crop. So yeah, no, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. So there we go. I don't know. Anybody got any questions or anything before we call this a day? But
fact sheets are starting in September. They did tell us that.
That's
we'll start getting more fact sheets, so it will be interesting to see what come with those.
Yeah. But certainly, I kind of felt more comfortable after watching that stream yesterday. It just gave me a little bit of clarity around some of the things they've been talking about, and you're right. I think that the trailer didn't really do it justice.
Agreed.
But yes, no. I'm still looking forward to it. I genuinely think, and I think if you think back to it, I remember when they announced and they were showing pre-launch stuff for FS19. It got a bad rap as well because people were used to 17. They had all the mods for 17. So I think, we'll know how good this gets when the modders get a hold of it and start, building up the amount of mods and different maps we've got. And, it's taken us 3 years to get to where we are with FS19, right? And it's as good as it ever was right now. So, again, I think it's going to get better as time goes on. But certainly, for me, there's enough there for me to want to get my teeth into it and have a play on it pretty quickly.
Yeah, I agree. If FS19's still got a little life in it, still some cracking mods coming out and that. But I think FS22, will be enough to get stuck into, and have some fun on it and see what it's all about. For sure. Matthew Strode saying there, base game maps look a lot better than FS19 maps. Totally agree. The US map looks and feels like a US map. So definitely. Yep. And there's just a little reminder to, if you haven't pre-ordered and you're planning to jump on there, and if you want to support either of the channels, to use the creator codes there. And you can use that for the season pass separately or for that bundled one.
That's right.
So they are all available.
Matthew Peckham, do you think we'll ever get proper 3D fluid grains when they're being overloaded piped as opposed to these 2D sprites we get at the moment? Same with grapes here, they look a bit flat. Hard to say. It depends on how they push the development of the engine, really, isn't it? They've talked a lot about how the engine is very specific because of the amount of stuff they have to do.
The particle effects they had out of the back of the combine were quite impressive for the straw, for the chopped straw. If they can develop that into how they can deal with the grains and that coming out of the pipe, I think there's some real potential there. Yeah, certainly a step forward. I think some of the textures, you're right. Yeah. But yes, T-Man saying, I hope it doesn't take 3 years to get FS22 up to par. I don't think it will, T-Man. I think the fundamental way they changed the way mods were developed from 17 to 19 isn't there this time. So I think we'll see mods coming through a lot quicker, hopefully. Yep. Bearded Gamer's asking, what's the schedule for From the Field? We don't have a schedule. We
just wing it. But very much open to ideas from you guys as to how you want us to do this. I think it's definitely something we enjoy doing. If you guys enjoy watching it, we'll keep doing it. And
we had a bit of a chat the other day about an idea that we might try and pursue. We just need to get a couple of people on board with it. So we need to, haven't reached out to them yet, so that might be something to do over the coming weeks, and maybe look at doing something a bit different, not just focusing on FS22, but looking more at the modding and map making community and having a chat to some other creators. Yeah,
maybe some interviews in there and different things like that. So any ideas from you guys, we'll more than delighted to hear them.
Yep, absolutely.
Buttons Pro Gaming, any tips for somebody new getting into FS? I have to say, if you don't know anything about farming, and you've just literally turned the game on and don't have a clue as to where to start, the in-game tutorials are actually a really good starter point for just basically teaching you the basics of what you need to do to plant crops, harvest crops, and so on and so forth. So definitely check those out. They're really good.
Yep. Otherwise, just watch others who play the game, other channels, watch what they do. And if you're not on either FSG or my Discord, jump in there, because there's plenty of people who are willing to answer your questions.
Yeah.
Just so long as you've Googled them first.
There's a lot of good context. There's a lot of good content out there.
Figure out. Probably the biggest thing is figure out what you want to do in the game, learn how to do it, and then start looking at mods. Don't get mods can be overwhelming. But there is some really great stuff out there. So depending whether you're on console or PC as well.
Yeah.
So there we go.
That's a nice idea. DLC wise, love to see the equipment packs from companies that allow you to run ROM brand from plowing to harvesting. I like the idea of that.
Yep.
Okay, folks. Well, thanks for watching. Enjoyed that. What are you doing now, Args?
I'm going to go have some breakfast, chill out with the kids, and then probably see you later on tonight to record West Texas.
All right, sounds like a plan. I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to have a beer and then go to my bed.
Good on you. Good on you. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Hope you've enjoyed that. Don't forget, if you have, smash a like on both our streams. If you don't subscribe already, appreciate it if you do. I'm pretty close to 7K. FarmSim guys over 20, but appreciate
25. 25.
Oh, I said over 20. I was factually correct. Thank you.
Oh dear. Yeah,
you're going to need a wider angle camera to get that head in soon.
Go and click on Argsy's subscribe button.
On that note, thank you, everyone. Pleasure.
Take care, guys.
And we'll catch you again soon.
All the best. See you.
See ya.
Bye-bye.